I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood.
What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about the smoking gun of Citigroup. Now, I found it, and it took a whole lot, about a half a day yesterday. But let me show you what I wrote concerning Citigroup in the lawsuit, and then I'll show you where I got bogged down, and I had to spend a half a day looking, all right? Let's take a look. Citigroup Global Markets. In June of 2022, global banker Citibank settled an antitrust case which involved currency manipulation in Brazil. In this settlement agreement, Citibank, a subsidiary of Citigroup, committed to paying over $71 million in fines and struck a deal for no admission of guilt, of course. This is not the only market manipulation Citigroup, parent company of Citibank, was involved in at the time. The plaintiff alleges that Citigroup Global Markets engaged in unlawful market manipulation and fraud when it underwrote the Brazilian BDRs using the foreign company AMC Entertainment Holdings. Stop. Now, let's talk about this. An allegation, speculation, don't win lawsuits. I had to get some type of physical, tangible evidence, something with Citigroup's name signed to it that said they were the ones that created the Brazilian BDRs, because I was focusing on the court that this could possibly get into, and the judge does not want to hear the allegation. They want proof that Citigroup done this. So I Googled it, and I Binged it, and I ChatGPT'd it, and I DuckDuckGo'd it, and I couldn't find the fucking paperwork that could prove without a shadow of a doubt that Citigroup was guilty. So I sat back, and instead of giving up, I said, all right, what can I do? And I said, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to go old school ape on their ass. And I went to the one place that I knew that if it was some type of smoking gun that pointed to Citigroup, I would find it on Reddit. So I went over here to Reddit, and I'm reading this article, or this DD that these apes have put out 2 years ago, okay? And it matched up exactly with the DD that I've been doing, and that I've been able to come to the same conclusion. Only one problem. All of this DD was speculation. All of it's speculation. There was nothing tying Citigroup personally to the lawsuit. And what I'm thinking is, who's to say it wasn't Fidelity? Why were people saying Citigroup? Well, I finished with this person's DD, and I went on down and read all the comments concerning this, and about 5 other Reddit posts concerning this, looking for the smoking gun. And boom, in the comments, by Real Beezy, the custodian is Citibank, New York. This information is available on page 16 of the official document, which is what I was looking for the BDR 82MC34. Now I'm thinking if I click this link, it should take me to the B3 Brazilian exchange. Their SEC is called CVM. All right, they would have had to have registered that and had their name on that paperwork. And I clicked the link, and sure as shit stinks and water's wet, there was the paperwork filed to the Brazilian Stock Exchange issuing the Brazilian AMC BDRs. All right, then I looked at it, I'm like, yes, I finally found it. And then I look and I go, the fuck is that? What language is that? So I had to Google, what language they speak in Brazil? And they said Portuguese. And I said, well, I can't fucking read Portuguese. What good is this? I can't turn this into the court And so I did the next best thing. I went to the Discord and I said, hey, does anybody speak Portuguese? And one person said, my AI does. I said, well, mine won't. ChatGPT wouldn't do it. So they sent me the link for Google Translates, and Google translated this document from the Brazilian Stock Exchange, where somebody created the Brazilian BDRs. And in less than a minute, I had the translation by Google of the Brazilian Stock Exchange's paperwork on who filed these BDRs. Now, I'll give you the spoiler alert. Page 16, which is where they said to look. And there it was. The custodian identification was Citibank, N.A., 388 Greenwich Street, 14th floor of New York, New York. All right, Citibank. Citibank fucking did it. There's your smoking gun. They signed the paperwork. They wrote the BDRs. And now we'll go through the document. Starting at the top, the BDRs will represent shares of ordinary shares, Class A common stock issued by AMC Entertainment Incorporated, traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol AMC, and then you see where it has in parentheses the represented shares, because they could have wrote these BDRs, and there's kind of like a loophole that says that they have to hold some type of security to ensure the investors in Brazil would get their money if something happened. It didn't necessarily have to be AMC, but right here it tells you that AMC is the represented shares in the BDR creation. And it goes on to say each one share represented, which is AMC, will support the issuance of 6 BDRs. All right. Down here it says the program and BDRs have not been and will not be registered with the Security and Exchange Commission under the U.S. Secretaries Act of 1933, which means they were not planning on it, and neither were they going to do it. They were not going to register this information with the American SEC. You get down here to the definitions, and it tells you the custody agreement. Custody agreement entered into between the depositary and the custodian, which is Citigroup. They did it on 6/15/2018. Custodian Citibank N.A., a financial institution headquartered in New York City, New York State, and the address as custodian institution of shares represented. So what they're saying is, long story short, Citigroup laid claim to 510 million shares of AMC in their possession in order to write these BDRs. And I thought this was interesting right here. Citi Global Custodia, part of Global Transaction Services segment, has more than 15 trillion in assets under their custody. All right, so they're saying that Citigroup over there in Brazil has $15 trillion worth of stock that they have written on the Brazilian Stock Exchange under BDRs. 15 trillion. Now that fucked me up. How in the world can Citigroup lay claim to $15 trillion worth of stock in their custody in order to be able to do this? So I went back to Reddit and I said something ain't right here. So we looked again. And come to find out, somebody on Reddit, Awesome Apes, Netflix BDR symbol NFLX34, terminal shown 22.17 billion tokens. Registration shows 50-to-1 ratio. Does this mean that Citi holds the entire float of Netflix in its custody? What about Elastic NVBDR symbol E2ST34, terminal shows 1.1 billion tokens. Registration shows 12-to-1 ratio. Does this mean the Citigroup holds the whole float of ESTC? And it goes on, and they list Visa, Apple. They've done it to all these stocks, and they claim that they hold the whole fucking float in their custody to be able to do this. Page 5 of the Brazilian BDR paperwork says the BDRs will correspond to the represented shares held in deposit by the custodian, which that shows right there they're supposed to have all the shares that they claim. In order to issue the BDRs, it says the BDRs will be issued by the depositary in Brazil after confirmation by the custodian of the receipt in deposit of the corresponding quantity of represented shares, free and clear of any charges, encumbrances, or preferences of the nature. So there you go. Smoking gun, people. Right there. Now I've got proof 100% that Citigroup did this. So now, back over to my Word document or my Google document over here, and I am about to begin finishing up the case against Citigroup Global Markets now that I have the evidence. So with that, get stoked, people. This right here, they owe us every penny that they profited off of our company shares. And you're talking somewhere around 30 to 50 billion fucking dollars. And I'm almost tempted to go buy some Apple and Visa and shit like that so I could file a claim against them for those stocks too. All right. So you can rest at ease. CSI's on the job. I am not going to stop until I finally bring this case against these bad actors for doing what they've done to us for the past 2.5 years. So with that, I hope you're as stoked as I am. Love y'all. Be blessed. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I did a video yesterday on payment for order flow, and I showed you the process in which payment for order flow goes through. That it has nothing to do with best price execution. And when I got through with that video, somebody watched it, and I'll be damned if they didn't put 2 and 2 together and figure out what is wrong with having payment for order flow in our markets. And I'll be doing that video next. So with that, love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll see you then.